Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into Arrival, the 2016 sci-fi masterpiece that completely flipped the script. It posed this incredible idea. What if the greatest weapon and the greatest gift was actually language?
And this quote just nails it, right? In a genre that's usually all about laser beams and explosions, Arrival chose contemplation over conflict. It showed us that the biggest wow moments don't always come from a CGI battle, but from the slow, painstaking process of figuring out what a single word really means.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to follow the film's journey right from the quiet mystery of the ships appearing to those first crucial conversations, and of course, to that mind-bending revelation that changes absolutely everything.
So the movie kicks off not with a huge explosion, but with this eerie silence. Imagine waking up one day and there they are, 12 massive, smooth, silent spacecraft just hovering over random spots around the globe. No warning, no communication, just presence. Talk about unsettling.
And right in the middle of this global freakout, we meet our hero, Dr. Louise Banks. She's this incredible linguist, and we see her grappling with what looks like the recent loss of her daughter. It's this deeply personal story of grief that grounds this massive sci-fi event and gives it so much heart. So, of course, the government comes knocking. Louise gets pulled in to lead a team with a physicist, Ian Donnelly, and the whole thing's run by Colonel Weber. You've got your word person, your numbers person, and your military guy. Their job? To start what is, no exaggeration, the most important conversation in human history. And now for the good stuff. That first trip inside one of those ships, it's just this awe-inspiring moment where they defy gravity and step into a world that is completely alien to everything we know. So what do they find? Behind this massive transparent wall, they meet the visitors. These huge, seven-limbed creatures that look kind of like giant squid. And in a bit of classic human humor, they nickname them Abbott and Costello. But the real challenge hits them immediately. How do you even say hello to a being that might not even have a concept of hello? This is where things get really wild. Louise figures out that the heptapods don't have one language, they have two, and they are completely separate. There's Heptapod A, their spoken language, which sounds kind of like a whale song, but then there's Heptapod B, the written one. It's these beautiful, complex circles of ink. And here's the kicker. It has zero grammatical connection to what they're actually saying. It's a total puzzle. Louise realizes pretty quickly that the spoken language is a dead end, so she makes a huge call. They've got to focus everything on cracking the code of Heptapod B, their written language. And this is the central idea of the whole movie. See, when we write a sentence, it's linear, word after word, from beginning to end. Their language isn't like that at all. It's non-linear. They create the entire circular logogram all at once. To do that, you have to know the entire thought before you even start. There's no past or future in the sentence. The whole idea just exists. And get this, the filmmakers went all out to make this feel real. They based it on Ted Chiang's amazing short story, and then they brought in artists, computer scientists, and actual linguists. They created over 100 unique logograms, each with its own internal logic. This wasn't just some cool-looking special effect. They built a real, functional, albeit fictional, language. Okay, so Louise is getting deeper and deeper into this language. It's starting to affect her dreams, her thoughts, and that's when the heptapods drop a bombshell, a message that puts the entire world on red alert. After weeks of slow, careful work, they get a message that changes the game completely. It translates to two words: offer weapon. And just like that, you can feel the panic ripple across the globe. Weapon? What weapon? And this is where it all starts to fall apart. You see, the Chinese team had been communicating with their aliens using the game of Mahjong, a very competitive framework. So for them, weapon doesn't mean tool. It means use weapon. They threaten to attack, other countries get spooked and start mobilizing, and Louise is frantically trying to tell everyone that it could just be a misunderstanding, a problem of translation. So to get what happens next, you need to know about this fascinating real-world idea called the Sapir-Whorf Hypothesis. The short version is that the language you speak doesn't just describe your world, it actually shapes how you think and perceive it. For Louise, learning this alien language isn't just a translation exercise, it is literally rewiring the operating system of her brain. And that leads us to the film's
incredible twist. The weapon, the tool, the gift that the aliens are offering, it's their language. Because if you truly learn to think in a language that has no concept of linear time, you start to perceive time itself that same way.
And suddenly, the whole movie just clicks into place. Remember all those heartbreaking memories of her daughter? Yeah, those weren't memories, they were premonitions, flash forwards to a daughter she hasn't even had yet. Because her brain is being rewired, she can remember the future. And she uses this new power to stop the war by remembering a future conversation she'll have with China's General Shang.
In war, there are no winners, only widows. These are the words she tells him. His wife's dying words. Words she won't officially learn until years in the future at a UN gala. Just think about that. She uses knowledge from the future to save the present. It is just a beautiful, mind-bending moment.
So, a movie this smart, this emotional, this different, how did it actually do out there in the real world? Let's take a look.
First off, let's talk numbers. The film was made for around $47 million. Now, that sounds like a lot, but for a big sci-fi movie with this kind of scope, it's actually pretty lean. And it brought in, get this, over $203 million at the worldwide box office. That is a massive success. It really proved that audiences were totally ready for smart, thoughtful science fiction that makes you think.
And it wasn't just a hit with audiences. Critics absolutely adored it. We're talking 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, universal acclaim on Metacritic, and an incredible 8 Oscar nominations, including one for Best Picture. That's huge.
It ended up taking home the Academy Award for its amazing sound editing, but it also won some of the most prestigious awards in the sci-fi world, like the Hugo and the Ray Bradbury. It really cemented its place as one of the most important sci-fi films of the 2010s.
But in the end, Arrival leaves us with a question that's less about aliens and more about us. Louise now knows her entire life story. She knows the incredible joy of having her daughter, but she also knows the unbearable pain of losing her. And she chooses to live it anyway, to embrace all of it. So the movie leaves you with this question. If you could see your life from start to finish, would you change a thing?